Hi, welcome back again at our channel. In continuation to our ongoing training program related to translation management, let's now move on to quality management in translation. This forms part of our lecture on translation project management. There, quality also plays an important role. So we will understand what is quality management first, and then we will understand how these quality management are being developed over the period of time and what are their importance and how we deploy this into our translation management process. But before I go into that lecture, I would request you to see if you can subscribe to our channel, and if you like the channel, do also press the bell button and share your comments and share the videos. It gives us energy to come back with another video for you. So now let's move to our presentation on translation quality management. If we deeply go into project management, we have discussed about one section, that is continuous development of process and continuous improvement. And that happens only when we deploy four things. One is we plan. Another is once we plan, we do the things. While doing things, we control, that is check. And once there is some improvement needed, we act. In short, if you look into this in this chart, we call it PDCA. So it is called plan, do, check, and act. The idea is not to burden the management by various documents and create pressure among people. The idea is to develop a process, train people, and mature it to such an extent that you control the losses, you minimize the risk, and get maximum benefit out of your investment in time, money, and material. So the better it is, the better process it is, the better quality management it takes place. And the more maturity comes, the more effectiveness comes if we have deployed, that continuous improvement psyche among the team members. So this is what I call it in brief. I have discussed about quality management in a very detailed lecture. You can refer to our videos on this channel itself. There are two parts. One is quality management across the globe, especially in terms of translation and how we use them. We will be brief in this section, as we will be covering part of translation management process, but still I will try to cover them all so that you have the detailed understanding of what translation management process is. Broadly speaking, I have located in total 9 quality standards which are useful for translators and translation agencies. And quality standards have also developed over a period of time. They are not static. Please also understand that following quality standards is recommendation. It is not forcible. It is not law. There are some standards which act as a law. If you don't follow them, if you agree to follow and you don't follow them, you run into trouble. But most of these quality standards are deployed for effectiveness of the process. However, there are less legalities involved in this, but a better understanding prevails when you apply these standards, because then people know where you are. So in order to control the mismatch of expectations, this translation standard is deployed. So if you are looking for one thing and you order and you get another thing which you were not expecting, so what we do? We define things. We define the scope and we define the parameters. And based on those parameters, we develop expectations. And once we meet those expectations, or once we get those expectations from the service provider, we say the service was good. So broadly, if this expectations, is defined, and the person who is delivering these products to you tells you that we follow this process, and they certainly follow that process, at the end of the day, you get those products or services which were as per the expectations or as per the specifications. So there are, 9 I have defined you. Out of these 9, 7 of them are process oriented. And the first one is DIN from Germany, which started in 1995. The second one is the Austrian one, which started in 2000. Third one is Chinese one, 2004. There is most popular among translators, especially because of American Translators Association playing key role in regulating translation activities in North America, and that is ASTM standard, that is called ASTM 2575 USA, which was developed in 2006. Parallelly, Europe also developed its own standard called EN 15038 in 2006. When European Union did, when Chinese did, when America did, why should Canada be lagging behind? So Canadian standards came into picture in 2008, which incorporated some major positive things from European Union standard EN 15038. But as you could imagine from these names, they are more for one country or to another, but it was not internationally recognized one. But efforts of team and from different parts of the world, especially ISO working in this direction too, they have developed another standard called ISO 17100 standards, which came into place in 2015. So these are 7 standards, which are process oriented and they are recommended. The last 3 ones, EN 15038, Canadian standards, as well as ISO, they require audit. And once the audit is done, you are meeting the compliance, you are issued the certificate. And regular audits are done in order to ensure that you are deploying that into your system when you are using your offices, either as a single person or as a team or as a translation agency or a translation company. In parallel to these 7 ones, one that is very important, and that is SAE standards, SAE, J2450. This standard was initiated by Society for Automotive Engineers in 1997. And in this one, they have defined certain parameters to check translations, means linguistically, if there are certain errors, there are omissions, all these points they have defined. And based on those definitions, a translator is considered good or bad. On the other hand, the rest, all 7 standards that we have talked about, it is not talking about text. It is talking about the qualification of the translators. It is talking about the qualification of the proofreaders. It is talking about how they will do the quality check, how the translators will be hired, how the client will, everything will be documented, how the technology management will be incorporated into place. And most of them focus on qualified translators as well as second reading, means second proofreading, to do the quality control by much senior persons. Right? So this is, in crux the translation as well as translation quality standards. But luckily in 2018, our company Modlingua, while we had around 200 interns working with us, we did some experiments using these standards processes, including the translation omission deployed by Society of Automotive Engineers quality standards, that is SAE J2450. So we use that into our project management while doing contents writing online for our website by interns. And we deployed that thing and later on we also deployed Grammarly for understanding how effective the artificial intelligence is in helping us improve our processes. And we also used variety of parameters, including this SAE standard parameters. We added some more to define whether if we use them, we are able to do betterment in our process or not. And luckily we were surprised that we were able to save, let's say if there is a project that involves 1500 hours and we deploy this process that is called Modlingua rubric into our system, we are able to effectively increase the efficiency of the process and speed up the work, by 50%. 20% I will attribute you to better understanding of these errors like omissions, submissions, sentence pattern, grammar, etc. Plus 30% improvements has taken place when we have deployed, Grammarly. So the correction error was less and efficiency was more because you could check properly after you are ready for submission. After you have prepared your project and you run a Grammarly, it helps you, improves your quality of translation as well as content writing, because it checks even at times comma as well as sentence structures. It gives you certain suggestions. So with this, my friend, let's come to our translation quality standard that is for text, not for the process, and that is SAE 2450. So in this standard SAE J2450 by Society for Automotive Engineers, there are 8 parameters on which the translation quality is checked. The first one is usage of wrong term. Second one is syntactic error. Third one is omissions. Omissions when you forget, or you ignore. The next one is word structure or agreement error. There is always sometime error, in the agreement, verb and action. There are misspellings. That is also an error. There are punctuation errors. And in above and all, there are some miscellaneous errors. So If while doing quality control of our text, if we try and analyze that text from these points of view, we will drastically improve our output. But apart from this linguistic aspect of quality control, nowadays, since we are also using translation memory tools, we also do translations of PDF files. We also do translation of PowerPoint presentation. We also do translations of XML files, XLIFF files. We also do translation of tags. Many times we also do translations for voice over, subtitling. So all these things, apart from linguistic errors, there are technical errors. We call them non-linguistic errors, and they are equally important to control. And if we as a translator, we do not know how to control those errors, we can run into big trouble. So let's understand what are those final points. And they are, I always call them, non-linguistic aspect of a translation, and they play important role. I have divided them into a variety of stages. One is at segment level. So at segment level, what we do, we forget. Translation is incomplete. There are some corrupt characters. There are some inconsistent sentences, So they are at segment level. And when we are talking about, another ones, they are called, there is inconsistency. Source and target is not matching. There is punctuation. I'm talking about, the segment level only. Punctuation, end of the segment, space before, punctuation, double space, double dots at times, double punctuation. These are all errors. And the machine counts, Lisa matrix used to count every error, of this kind and define your quality of translation. And if you had done something wrong, which are very critical in nature, you are penalized and your translation is rejected. Only 1 or 2 parameters are allowed for, to be able to play with errors. Otherwise, once you are not touching those points and you are doing mistakes, your translation is rejected or you are penalized. Similarly, quotation marks, brackets, parentheses. Also doing numbering, you have problems, and those are values, number formatting. Font is wrong. There is a comma there. Many times while measurement units, in US we are talking about gallons, in India we are talking about kgs. So those can also create a big problem. Similarly, some more elements like tags, colors, because these play important role. Those tags have some value, because once you are doing these works on a platform, and if there is mistake there in these comma, tagging, parentheses, etc., it can affect the output at the quality control point from where this software is being made to go into the public domain. The coding is done in the background, and in the front end you have the better look and feel. But at the back end, the codes are so much jumbled that it is impossible to understand what is going on. Only technical people can understand it. So in order to facilitate those technical people to effectively do the work, we have to take care of all these non-linguistic aspects. Otherwise, we run into big trouble and our translation can be rejected in spite of the fact that our content was very good. So my friend, keep that factor into consideration. And before I end, I would also like to focus or draw your attention on terminology management. That forms important part in our translation process as well as translation of the text, technical or non-technical. Because see, if in order to be doing your quality control, it is a must that you have a reference point, especially when you are dealing with the text. So if there is no reference point, if you have not received any terminology from the company you are working for, it is your duty to create a reference point. And that reference point is created in form of glossary or what we call terminology. So whenever you have a technical document or non-technical document, please identify the keywords, find their translation as per the context. If you have any doubts, clear your doubts from the client and incorporate the changes wherever required, and follow that standard that you have developed yourself in the form of a glossary throughout the translation. This will help in bringing consistency in translation. Number one, quality improves. And in case later on, if there is some error found or client says, give some feedback, the only thing that you will have to do is give a replace command, because you know that you have been consistently following the glossary. So even the error which were by mistake committed or because of some reason it was not noticed in the first page, in the second phase the error can be controlled easily. So my friends, if we follow this project management process that has come in front of us, that we have discussed already, the quality control process in translation that we have discussed, we deploy them into our process while hiring translators, while receiving documents, and while doing translation, we apply SAE standards, we apply later on Modlingua rubric standards, use Grammarly. We will be able to do our translation well. And luckily, whatever I have explained it to you, this can be deployed in content management, this can be deployed in writing, this can be deployed in preparing news for any company, this can be deployed in any content related activities, including publicity materials, DTP, etc. So with this, my friend, before I end, I again like to thank you for your time. And if you like the video, please do subscribe to our channel and share your feedback, because that helps us to come back with more energy, my friends. Press the bell button and do put your comments below. If you want to join our platforms, social media platforms, please check in the description box of this video. There are certain points given at Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter. See you soon. Until then, goodbye and adios.